very happy with the win. Really proud of our players. They all know, and we know this is always a really, really tough effort or a tough team to take down. Their coaching staff does a really, really good job of prepping, and we knew we were going to have to figure out some things on the fly. It's nice having some older kids that have been through this a little bit and know how physical of a game this is always with them. So really proud of the effort, really proud of the execution. I think you can always try to prepare for a team that plays this way, and then when you first start getting out there, maybe your head starts spinning a little bit, a few first possessions. So really, really proud of what our team did, and it's a good win for us to start. That was a big thing for us early. Nice to know that other people noticed, because we really did try to push the pace. I think that's something when we've been at our best, especially at home, we've been really, really good when that pace is going. Unfortunately for them, they had their point guard out, so maybe we really felt even more so good about our depth against them. That's something we wanted to kind of get to. I think that's something that's really helped us over really all season in the third quarter, when maybe some other teams have played a few more minutes than we had. I think that was really kind of the story of, especially that first, outside of us making shots and maybe them missing a few that they normally hit. I thought the pace of the game was definitely in our favor, especially the first 10. Probably waited an adjustment, probably one possession too long in that second quarter, which kind of came back to get us. I didn't think we defended ball screens very well. I think we just had to kind of regroup. Kai and I had what I'll call a conversation, maybe walking off the court,
I could hear you.
Oh, you could hear that. Yeah, I'm sure some people saw that. But again, I think that's something that part of this is just knowing what makes her tick and getting her going. I thought a huge part of that second half was just her aggression, and her kind of taking charge out there. Like I said, I think maybe we kind of had to regroup a little bit. Defensively, I think we were making some mistakes. To only let them score 25 points was good, but I thought it came in some easy ways that we didn't want to give up. And I thought we regrouped a little bit. And like I said, I just thought we were a little more aggressive, starting with number 2 over here.
Really good shooters all around, so we knew we had to be there on the catch especially. So just making sure that whenever they faced up, that they are good shooters, or they're good enough players to just shoot that. So we knew we had to be there. That was a really good scout on Coach G, and just knowing the team and how well-rounded they are. Rebounding is a big focus on this whole program. We knew we were really relaxed with it for a few games, and then we had to amp it back up. So when we really focus on that, and we knew 23 is a great crasher and hustle player for them, so we really had to focus on boxing them all out. And I think our guards especially really did a good job of making sure their players were out of it. So then our posts, we did our job, and then it just works out.
So just me mentally, I just have to make sure I was being aggressive so I can get myself involved and my teammates involved too, because when I'm aggressive, I'm able to either put up a good shot or look for my shooters on the arc or my post inside. And we talked about as a team just making sure that we get stops and or contested shots and rebounds to get quick outlets so we can get push the pace for our offense. So just kind of setting that pace, starting with defense, was our main focus as a team.
Yeah, and more so when you just look ahead to this year. I think this is a group right now that, quote, we're the defending champions last year. I don't know how much we really thought about that last year. It's a new season. I think Megan's probably thinking the same way. I think for us it was a great win because it was at home. You have to protect your home court. But it was against a team that is going to be there at the end. And we don't talk about, records or, way too early to talk about championships. But for us, we got to make sure we go out there and play well each game. I think that was a big thing for us coming off what we thought was a disappointing result, but a disappointing effort at Iowa State. I think they're a very, very good team, as they're going to show throughout the year. But I think we expected to compete better than that. And so I think it was a pride check. It was a gut check. I think you saw a lot of how we came out of the locker room both times. I think that was a good testament to us. And hopefully we can kind of continue that wave for a while.
Well, you just kind of shuffle that out with 2018, I guess.
Yeah, but again, I think this is a group that we've been so proud of them for so much that they've accomplished. How they've practiced, how they've gone about their business off the floor, how much they've put work in off or outside of practice. This is a really special group, and we talk about potential and all of that. But right now, they've been able to kind of get to a spot where maybe we haven't been, especially this early in the season, And so I think that's maybe why it was such a disappointing effort. And again, I'm also proud of the fact that we really weren't a whole lot into the excuses. There were a lot of things we could have talked about with the travel and with the illnesses and not shooting the ball well. Yeah, and all those things kind of combine, and at least to me, maybe some body language stuff we had to correct, but otherwise there wasn't something that we kind of chalked up to excuses or things. We had to learn some lessons from the floor and from the film session coming out of Iowa State. But again, you look at our team where we are right now, 15 turnovers in a hard contested battle like that. Some of those were offensive fouls. But for us to be on the positive end of 20 of the turnover points off turnovers tonight, we were 21-6. That's something that we haven't been in this program for a while, And we talked. I think Slagus talked about the rebounding. We've got to clean up. But if you tell me that we've got the firepower that we do, the defensive presence that we do, and we're going to take care of the basketball, I think that's the number one thing we talked about in the offseason, and that's something that's really been a big positive for us, not even just kind of mediocre. It's been a huge positive for us.
Is that even more pronounced with the fact that you got so many people into the book tonight?
Yeah, and I think maybe something we've been able to take a lot of pride in that we've done all season. I don't know any coach in America that's got a 13-player roster, even an 11, 12 player or a 12 or 13 player rotation, but we've been able to do that. And maybe it kind of slimmed down a little bit to this here tonight, but it's been a great productive few practices. Maybe we didn't quite have that going into Iowa State, and hopefully it's a lesson we can learn as well. We practice well, we play well. That's been pretty consistent throughout the season.
It's business too.
Yeah, and that's tough. Because again,
Players know that.
yeah, but we have 13 kids that we trust that can, God forbid there's injuries or something happens throughout the year. You see Abby getting some foul trouble today. We have a lot of confidence in a lot of our kids stepping out there to play, and I think that's going to make it some fun competitive practices here, over the next few months.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Kate Walker on the way down here, and she was talking about nerves a little bit with just like the home opener and stuff. And I was just telling her how there's really nothing to be nervous about because we are so deep this year that if she's not shooting well or I'm not shooting well or anyone, just like there is that Ellie's going to be a great shooter in that game. Then Abby just shot lights out the first quarter and really. So Ellie's been huge this year with opening it up on the outside and also just giving the post giving them someone else they have to make sure they have to look after and everything.
Something we've talked about this year too, just the deflections. We haven't been able to do that here in years past. I think we've been some really good defensive teams, but we maybe haven't created turnovers, haven't disrupted teams, and I think that's something with Ellie's length at her position this year has been helpful. But I think just a little bit more of an aggressive mindset. And I think I didn't see our deflection numbers today. We've been able to chart that throughout the games and. The times that we've had those high numbers, we've gotten some stuff in transition, which we were able to get to tonight, and that's something we weren't able to get at Iowa State. This is a tough stretch, and I think that was something that you get nervous about coming out of Iowa State. Is there's not a lot of rest days, natural off days here in the next few weeks. So I think they're hopefully happy to hear adjustment. We'll call it to the schedule tomorrow. We're get a lift, get a stretch in, get some shots up. But these guys really bounce back after Iowa State, and there were some pretty physical and tough practices, and today was the same. So these guys earned a little bit of time off their legs, and hopefully we can come back here with another tough one on Sunday.